January 31st, 2022. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 250 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Now, as listeners may know, I've kind of gone on about what a good year I had last year as far as gambling goes.
2021 was big year.
Easily my biggest year.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if there are any listeners out there who are just thinking, shut up, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, you won. Big deal.
If there's any.
Well, I've good news for those people. All right, my 2022 is off to a horrible start. Terrible. Yeah, you've been witness to some of it. No, honestly, January, and it's just ending up here, it's going to go down as my worst month of gambling. I mean, that's how bad it's been. So
yeah. Even when you went with like your wife and son and stuff.
Yeah, just a little.
It's just terrible.
I was due for a loss, as they say.
Well, let me ask you this.
All right.
If you have a big loss, you personally, are you inclined? I mean, when you get home, do you think to yourself, oh, I need to get back there and recover? Or do you think to yourself, I'm staying away for a while?
I never think, oh, I've got to get back there to recover.
Okay.
I never do that. No.
That.
And it's not that I'm going to stay away, but I definitely thought, okay, I had such a good year last year that I was, throwing money around betting bets and everything. I'm just going to cut back on the big bets. I'm going to go back to kind of
the way
how I bet
previously
to that. So much more conservative. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And on a follow-up question, when you have big wins, when you come home, do you think to yourself, oh, I'm on a hot streak, I can't wait to get back? Or do you think, oh, gosh, maybe I shouldn't go for a while because, I don't want to, lose my hot streak?
It's definitely not that. No,
okay.
I'm looking to get back. Now, I'm not thinking, oh, I've got to get back. And I'm not thinking I'm on a hot streak.
Okay.
No, it's more like, boy, I sure enjoy this. I'm winning. I'd like to continue to play.
So what I'm drawing from this
is that
you enjoy winning and not so much losing.
Yeah, I guess in a nutshell. I think you've... I
just wonder what most people think. I mean...
sure. There's different... It depends on...
I mean, honestly, I go both ways. If I have a big loss, I come home and I think, oh, God, I'm going to get them next time, and I'm ready to go back.
Yeah.
And if I have a big win, I think to myself... oh, gosh, I got to take advantage of my, hot streak while I'm on it and go back. So either way, I'm going back.
That's you for sure.
Yeah, that's me for sure.
I think everybody has a different way. But I think, what you're saying, I'm not crazy about losing. I like winning. That's the end of our podcast. I don't think we need to do any more episodes.
You just boil it down to the lowest common denominator.
We should have started with that in episode 1. Well, we really have nothing else to say, folks.
That would have saved a lot of time. You know how much time we've wasted doing this?
It's crazy how much time. Oh, we finally got to it. Well, anyway, so that's where I'm at. So, New York State finally started with online sports wagering.
Online.
You're right,
yes,
and that's a big part of it, which, we were lamenting the fact as we were driving home that when it comes to California, it's going to be in person. They're not going to start online with mobile betting, which is, oh my gosh, what is it about California? Why is it taking it so long?
Well, imagine people in California who don't live near a casino.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say you're in, I don't know, in the desert. You have to drive like 3 hours to get to a casino.
To a tribal casino. The card rooms are probably not going to be able to take bets. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
You're not going to do that every day. During like baseball season, you're not going to drive every day to make bets.
Anyway, New York State does finally have mobile gaming, and you were reading an article about it.
I read an article the other day, and it's been huge. The first 2 weeks of January, there were over $1 billion wagered.
Yeah.
Come on, California. We're one of those states that has a lot of programs for people and stuff like that. But, it takes money.
Yeah.
So why not have sports betting? Get it from that. Yeah. I mean, that's a chunk of money. And if they have mobile betting, it's not even going to be, I guarantee you, if they have just in-person betting, there's not going to be over $1 billion wagered.
Oh, no way.
In the first 2 weeks.
No, and I bet a lot of the tribal casinos won't see all that much action. Yeah, initially maybe.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, the middle of baseball season.
Yeah, you're not going every day there to make your baseball bets.
Yeah. Well, I guess not a surprise. Well, let me say it this way. It's amazing that they did, over $1 billion in sports wagering in New York. but not a surprise, really. You know, when you're
of course
thinking
not.
about how they.
It's new, so everyone's on the bandwagon, right? After people get some losses, they'll go home and reflect. Should I bet more next time so I can win back what I lost, or should I slow down a little bit?
Oh, okay. So it even applies to sports betting, Mike. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly
interesting. All right. Should I continue doing this legal online wagering, or since I'm out of money, should I, get an account with the guy down the street on credit? And,
right. Either way is good.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, last episode, we had a listener contact us. He and his wife were in Las Vegas for their honeymoon, and they're both 23 years old. And he was surprised that a lot of the vouchers, this is the way that he put it, a lot of vouchers only applied to people who were 25 and older for shows and what have you. And we got an overwhelming response from listeners saying, hey, maybe he was dealing with timeshare representatives.
Right.
So I contacted him and said, hey, could that have been the case? And he said, oh, maybe because, they approached us as we were walking between, Luxor and Excalibur, something like that. So obviously that is what it is. When it comes to timeshare presentations, they only want people who are 25 years and older to attend for a lot of reasons,
mostly monetary reasons.
Yeah, right. And they're figuring, well, a young couple maybe might not have the resources. We're not going to.
If they don't even own a home, they're probably not going to get a timeshare.
Right. So, I wrote back and said, well, don't feel bad, because the last thing you want to do when you're in Las Vegas is sit through a timeshare presentation, right? So
if somebody approaches you on the street in Vegas, anywhere between casinos or whatever, I mean, they're either trying to give you some porn material,
right,
or a timeshare,
right.
And what's the third thing? What would you classify as the third thing that they give you?
Well, I'd say you want to get into a club.
Right. You want to get into a club, or there's a show tonight, a free show.
Right. These are VIP tickets, right? Which turn out to be worthless.
Right. Yeah. Everyone gets them.
Yeah.
And that's all they're getting. So, never go to a timeshare thing.
God. I would say, Vegas or otherwise.
Right. Or otherwise. Have you been to one ever?
No.
I've been to one. Uh-huh. We were on vacation, and the place we were staying at kind of had something. And, they kind of roped us into it.
Yeah.
We went, we stayed a few minutes. I told the guy, there's just no way I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And he said, okay. And we left. We didn't get anything.
You didn't get anything because you left early, right? They want you to sit through the whole thing.
We had to sit through that whole thing.
Yeah. Well, the big news coming out of Vegas, and listeners have probably already heard this, is that Bally's Las Vegas is going to be rebranded as Horseshoe Las Vegas. So the rumors have been out there for some time, but now it's official. Bally's is actually saying it. I love this because I'm glad that the Horseshoe name is coming back to Las Vegas.
Right. Although we always think of Horseshoe downtown.
I know, it's going to be tougher. I still sometimes inadvertently say Horseshoe when I just mean Binions.
Right.
Because that's what it was called. But so that's kind of the big news. Ultimately, though, it's just a name change.
Right.
It's not like it's going to incorporate the history of Horseshoe when it comes to we take any bet and we offer the best odds in town. No, it's still going to be a Caesars Eldorado property. So, but I am glad the name's coming back.
Do you think they'll change the motif inside or anything? I doubt it.
Yeah, they might. It depends on how much. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
How much money they want to spend.
Right. Is it just going to be the name and everything's going to look the same? They are going to have the World Series of Poker next year.
Right.
And are they going to... Oh, yeah.
This year, right. Mark.
I'm trying to put 2022 out of my mind, Mike. I'm still back in last year. I'm living in the past. Maybe they'll do something, for that. But
right.
Yeah.
You remember when it was MGM Grand?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Before they had that bad fire.
Terrible fire, yeah.
Yeah. We went, me, 3 other guys, and our friend Margaret.
Right. I wasn't with you on that trip.
You weren't with us. No, we all worked together.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
Like on a Friday night, let's go to Vegas tomorrow.
That's how most of our trips were back when we were young. Yeah.
When we were young, they were mostly spur of the moment.
Yeah.
We were talking about it, the 4 guys, and then Margaret said, I'd like to go because she wanted to see the lion at MGM Grand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, it was summertime. So we all drove, one car, we all drove to Vegas, and we go to MGM Grand to see the lion, and Margaret was so disappointed because it's like 110 degrees.
Yeah.
And this poor lion's in this cage.
Yeah.
And it's just laying there.
Yeah.
And she wanted to see it up and pacing. And
right, like at a good zoo, right?
Yeah,
like at the San Diego Zoo.
Or some, where you can get real close and see, wow, there's, lion. Yeah. And it just lay there. I mean, in that kind of heat.
Yeah, that's awful.
But it was weird. That was there for quite a few years.
Yeah.
They had the lion.
Yeah.
And then after the fire, they kind of got rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, the fire was terrible, of course.
It was really bad.
Then it was renamed Bally's. And I told a story on an episode a couple years back where we actually stayed at Bally's.
Right.
This was 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And the fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, not on our floor, but on the floor where my sisters were staying.
Right.
And so, you're a fire alarm at a location that
already had a major fire.
History.
Yeah.
And, they walked down the stairs all the way down to the bottom. Nobody was waiting for them. There was nobody to tell them anything. Oh, it's a false alarm, or oh, it's a test.
Yeah.
Again, it didn't happen. We were on a higher floor. It didn't happen.
Right.
But can you imagine a place like that? You're thinking, oh my gosh, here we go again, right?
Because I mean, if there's a fire, just give up. Just lay in your room, and you're up the 48th floor. If there's a fire below you,
there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, nothing you can do. Just put the Keno on the TV, make a few bets, hope you hit something.
Yeah. Opinions offered by Dr. Mike do not necessarily reflect that of the You Can Bet on That brand.
Well, I remember that fire, and it spread through the casino so fast.
Yeah, it started in one of the kitchens in the restaurant, and
it just went all the way through the casino, like in seconds.
Yeah.
And it always freaked me out. To this day, I think about it every once in a while. I think, oh my God, what would you do? You're just playing a game, and then before you even know it, it's on you. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Imagine the amount of alcohol in the carpet. That just ignited as the fire went through, right? You've got alcohol, you've got human body fluids, all of them. Every single one.
It's a casino after all.
It's a casino. And then, Coke on top of that, sticky stuff and things. Yeah. It's not surprising.
Yeah. So I know we're laughing here, but this was a terrible event. And luckily, it did kind of change the way that hotels looked at fire safety and what they want, and that kind. Because shortly after, at first they were kind of trying to downplay it, and it became a political thing. And then there was a fire at, I believe it was the Hilton.
Yes,
right. Las Vegas Hilton, right? Hilton. And that one was deliberately set. But after that fire, it's like, okay, we need to take some actions here. So
well, like most things in the world, something bad happens, and then we learn. I mean, humans learn, and they change things. Thank God.
But it was renamed Bally's, and then a new MGM Grand was built. Up there on the south side of the Strip. So
a bigger MGM Grand.
It's huge. It's too big. It really is.
I saw somebody on Twitter posted something about what's the worst walk?
From casino to casino?
No, in a casino, like the worst.
Well, I think the joke was, what's the worst walk on the Strip? And he was saying, just from one end of MGM Grand to the other.
Yeah. That is miserable.
It is.
Or from, the Caesar's cage to your room.
Right, that's another bad one. At the new tower, at the nice tower.
Yeah, the one that's furthest away from everything.
Now, you were getting back to that trip that you took with the gang. You were telling me that some of you did, was it like one of those parachute, like it's like you're in a wind tunnel or something?
Right, it's just a big fan, and you go out there and it blows you up, and then it's like you're parachuting or something.
Right, except you don't really have the feel of a fall. It's just the wind is blowing up.
You have the feel of floating.
Yeah, okay.
And you wear some suit that kind of has it's bigger than you.
Yeah.
So it looks hilarious when you first put it on.
Yeah.
And then, when the wind hits it, it spreads out, and that kind of gets
I think they have some more sophisticated ones. Probably the one back in whenever this was, early 80s or whatever.
Early
it was probably
80s,
rinky dink, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was pretty rinky
Did you do it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Margaret and I watched.
Okay.
Margaret didn't want to do it. And I, at the time, had some back issues. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to fall. Yeah. But Paul and Greg and Bob, the other guy, who they are. They all did it, and it was hilarious.
Oh,
I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God, especially Paul.
That is great. With everything, Paul does not like being embarrassed, so we love it when he's embarrassed.
And he had this big suit on and these goggles. He had to wear goggles and stuff.
Oh my God, that's great.
That was fun. That was a fun trip. And it was like a one-nighter.
Yeah.
We went for one night.
Yeah.
We got all that in.
We did a lot
I don't
of
even
that
remember how much gambling we did.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemails. First up is Josh.
Hey, Mark, Dr. Mike. This is Josh from Lawton, Oklahoma. First-time caller, long-time listener. I just want to give you a quick trip report. So here in Lawton, we have the Apache Casino Hotel. It's the only casino here in Lawton that has a craps table, one single table with a $5 minimum. Well, it was a pretty good day for me because I bought in for $200 and ended up leaving with about $650. The table was pretty cold to start off with. Everybody ended up leaving throughout the night, and then I was the last one on the table. And, I normally don't bet the all tall small, and when you know it, first time I ever bet it, I ended up hitting it. Last number was 10, a little hard to make, so I put out a $5 hard 10 for myself and $1 for the dealers, and about a couple rolls later ended up hitting it. That was a pretty good night for me. One thing I'd like to mention here in Lawton is the fact that they do not have what we call the Oklahoma ante, because their craps are commission free. So the only downside is the fact that the table is open for only through Thursday through Sunday in the evenings. But it's not that bad. Can't complain too much. Other than that, I'd like to say thanks for running the show, and like to, maybe if you guys ever come down this way, we can play. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, good. Well, It's nice. You can find table games in Oklahoma where you don't have to pay the ante. Go back to previous episodes if you want. There was a series of episodes where we talked about, how you have to pay an ante on table games, but there are some, casinos that basically pay the ante for you or however you want to look at it. So that's good to know. At least you can find some.
Yeah, and he tripled his money. Josh tripled his money. Yeah. That's great. You go to a place with $200 and you come out with $6. You tripled your money. What do you do with the winnings?
Well, you pocket it away. Maybe you put it in your savings, and then you go and play with another $200 the next time. Is that right, Dr. Mike?
Well, that's not bad. I was thinking more of, put your $200 back.
Okay.
Your $450 that he made profit.
Yeah.
Save $200 of that for your next trip.
All right. Okay.
So you got $250. Then you use that to buy yourself something nice.
Oh, all right.
I don't know, like a lifetime supply of mustard.
Sure. I mean,
doesn't go bad.
Right. Yeah. You'll never have to buy mustard again.
Yeah. Whatever it is you need that you think will improve your life. Now,
salt? What about salt?
Salt would be good. You could just buy a lifetime supply of salt.
Yeah.
Even paper products, whatever. Yeah. But, you do something fun with that other $250. Now,
that is fun.
You might want to buy something like you need a new, iPod or something or, whatever it is.
An iPod.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm stuck in 2021. You're stuck in 2005.
How about earbuds then?
All right, earbuds.
Seriously though, you do something that you have something tangible that you made you feel happy.
Okay, so
for me, it's buying mustard, but
yeah, that's right. So, in other words, don't necessarily put it all back into your gambling fund.
Right.
Buy like a washer if maybe you need a washer for the family, or maybe a TV.
Right, something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Don't be a mistake. Now I've made this mistake where I bought a lifetime supply of hot dogs.
Yeah, that's not good.
Realized it's not going to work.
That.
Even if you freeze them, it's
a
no
waste.
Good. Yeah, it's experience here. You learn these things.
All right, why don't we move on to the next call?
All right.
Hi, Mark and Mike. This is David from California, calling in with a couple quick trip reports. I went on the Carnival Radiance out of Long Beach on December 17th. It's an older ship, but freshly remodeled. They threw $200 million at it or something, renamed it. So technically it's their newest ship right now. Super nice, super clean everywhere. It was great. I was on a casino comp cruise, so that was fun and free. My wife is 7.5 months pregnant at the time, so she couldn't come with me, but I took my 11-year-old son, Charlie, instead, and he had a great time. It's perfect. In the casino, you could stand at the craps table, the bar, or the bathroom door, and you could see the other two from any point, and they're all within, a stone's throw. So to me, it's just the perfect trifecta. I drink a lot and I pee a lot, so it was excellent. The crew was super nice. Really appreciative of the tips, of course. All the players, most of them were relatively novice craps players, and so the game, especially with being a $5 game, went pretty slowly. a lot of dollar prop bets on everything, and then that combined with the dealers being a little new made for some confusion. Took a long time to get any rolls done. One thing, there was this guy at the end who was just, come on, let's go, move it, pass on the dice, let's move the game, the whole time, just non-stop. And then the worst part was, at the end, they'd be ready to, finally, they'd be shoving the dice down, and then this guy would throw out $2, high-low, and then they pull the dice back, they book his high-low, and then everybody else around the table, oh, what's a high-low? That sounds fun. And it goes around the whole thing again. They start throwing them, then he makes another prop bet. And it's like, well, you know, I mean, if you're the guy yelling about moving the game along, maybe have your bets ready? I don't know, something. Another funny thing was my son played in the arcade a ton, and the machines actually locked up on him and locked his card out because he had reached his arcade limit. So I don't know whose son that is, something weird. But we went down to guest services, and they said, well, that's actually run by the casino, so you have to go back up there and talk to them. So I just set him in line at the cage. They stopped doing smoking in the casino on the first day or second day of the cruise because of COVID protocols. So it wasn't smoky or anything, so I just let him stand in line to go talk to somebody at the cashier. And I was playing craps at the time, and I could kind of keep an eye on him. One of the boxmen there said, oh, isn't that your kid over there? I said, yeah, it is. So what's going on? I told him, you know, he needs to get his card unlocked so he can play more in the arcade. And so the boxman whistles over and fetches a host, and the host goes over and talks to him in line, gives him a carnival hat, sends him on his merry way. So I thought that was pretty nice and fun. One thing that's kind of a bummer, they don't do hop bets, so when you have a parlayed hard way, you can't turn it off on the come out and then hop it, so that was kind of a doozy. And then they don't do any piggyback tips, so instead of, you know, I like to throw a quarter out and do the hard ways, two ways, heavy for the dealer on the point or whatever, so they get $2 on the 6 if that's the point. But they don't do any piggybacks, so I can't parlay it with mine, so I just had to make it, you know, all $6 bets for myself, and then once I get the chip, split it up later. So that made it kind of a slight nuisance, but not the end of the world at all. Anyways, overall, really great experience. Very fun. The crew is starting to get the hang of it, it looks like. And then we'll find out, because I'm going to be back on the same ship January 17th with a few buddies. And away we go. Thanks for everything you do for the show. Looking forward to the next episode. See ya.
All right, we're going to hear back from David about his second trip on
cruise.
Yeah.
I wonder where they went.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. He didn't say. What? Yeah. Who cares? Yeah, he's on a cruise ship and he's playing at the casino.
If he's in the casino, it really doesn't matter. Although when you get close to a port, they close the casino.
Oh, yeah.
Which sucks. I mean, that should stay open. What difference does it make? You're on water.
Hey, pretty exciting, you know, for an 11-year-old to be standing at the cage there, right? Waiting to get more money in the... You know, you can't really do that. It'd be great if you could just take your 11-year-old to a real casino.
Yeah, just stand in line for me.
Jimmy, I need a cash advance. Just get in line. Tell me when you get to the front, and then I'll come over. Young man, where are your parents?
I was thinking that David's son probably just got up there, and as he's going through the line thinking, video games, I'm getting a cash advance.
That's right. Yeah.
My dad said to get a $5,000 cash advance.
Oh, can I see your card? That's right here. Oh, man, that story about, come on, keep it moving. And then
as he's telling that, I'm thinking we have seen that so many times.
There are some players who do it deliberately. It's probably a superstitious thing, but they really do wait till the dice are about to be sent. And that's when they think, that's when I have to make the bet.
Right.
It's not necessarily that they're consciously being rude. It's just they're thinking that's when you make those bets, right? That's when you throw
That's
in
when
those.
It's the most exciting in a movie. As the dice are being rolled, some guy yells for a high-low.
Right, you see the chips and the dice crossing in the air in slow motion. Right.
Or he's a horse better, and he thinks that, you know, making his bet late is really the best thing to do so you don't change the odds or anything.
Right. And, you know, it's always a risk. You might get shut out.
Yeah,
right? You know, get up there. Oh, gosh, I guess I should have, you know, made the bet 20 minutes ago.
Or he's just a jackwipe who is just trying to slow the game down because he doesn't have a clue. How about that?
That's another option, yeah. Despite what the words coming out of his mouth, that could be, oh, man, I want a slow game, but I don't want people to know I want a slow game.
So
come on, move the dice. Come on. All right, high-low. All right, next call.
Gentlemen, this is Adam from Denver, Colorado calling again. I was just in Vegas in December and actually was just there again this past weekend. Thought I'd tell you about it. Buddy and I we were golfers and we decided to take a day trip or day and a half trip up to St. George before our trip and golf a couple rounds up there, which is really beautiful. Then we drove down back to Vegas on Saturday afternoon. This is the divisional NFL weekend, and oh my goodness, what an unbelievable divisional weekend in the NFL, and even better that we were in Vegas. It was just so much fun to watch the games at various points. One of them we watched the ending from a craps table, a couple others from bars. Everybody was having a great time. Vegas was packed. It was great. Happy to report we're still low rollers, so happy to report that we still had pretty good luck finding $15 tables up and down the strip. Not every casino had them, but most seemed to at least have one or two. So gambling for the first part of the trip was kind of a drip, slow down. But then at the very last night we were there, we decided to go off strip and go over to Gold Coast. And oh my goodness, we had probably the best table we had ever been on. We couldn't lose. We were pressing our bets, which we don't normally do. And we were both tipping both the dealers and then other shooters because everybody was just having a great time. My buddy ended up about $1,100 up, and I ended up about $500 up on this table, which for us, again, low rollers, was a great way to end the trip because it actually brought us both back about even for the trip. So anyway, had a great time. I think we might make the divisional NFL weekend a ritual now for us because, boy, it was such a fun time, and the games were amazing. So anyway, thanks for all you guys do. Keep it up. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe the best weekend of playoff football ever, right?
Combined.
I mean, those 4 games, right?
4 games were all good.
The 3 were all decided by, I guess it was field goals,
last
right?
Second field goal.
And then, I mean, that Buffalo-Kansas City game, maybe one of the greatest games of all time.
Second greatest game of all time.
Oh, you like the Chargers-Dolphins
80,
in the 80, yeah, it was
4 or 88.
Something. No, it was earlier than that. I think that was quite
Chargers.
a game, too.
That was an amazing game. Almost got fired because of that game.
Oh, right? Really?
Yeah.
Well, you were in the back room watching it, or what?
I was supposed to be at work at 5, and the game went to overtime, and I got there about an hour late. Everybody knew where I was.
They were not going to fire you, okay?
No,
we
they
were
weren't.
working at that restaurant. They weren't going to. You were a valued employee,
right? But it was one of those things where everyone knew what I was doing.
Yes, yeah.
It's always nice when you're in Vegas and there's something going on, something special.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, NFL playoffs or, March Madness or something. It just adds to the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
And you notice a difference. I mean, at least I do. When you go and there's nothing going on, it's that time of the year where it's just you're going to gamble.
Yeah.
It's not quite as exciting.
No, you feel that energy. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel that energy. And it's nice to talk to dealers, always have an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff about, who they like and what's going on.
They probably have action, right?
Yeah, they all, I'm pretty sure most of them do.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Andrew.
Hi there. This is Andrew from Seattle. I just wanted to call in about an experience that I had playing dice at my local casino here, Snoqualmie Casino. So in Washington State, we have a permanent box assigned to each table. I know in Vegas, sometimes one floor will be trying to play box for multiple tables, but in Washington State, they're still doing one box per table. So we were playing, we had this guy shooting. He was having a pretty decent roll, but he was having some real trouble hitting the back wall. He's one of these superstitious rollers who sets the dice in a perfect way, gets crouched down in a perfect way, and, launches them high up into the air. And the first dice had a tendency to just stick in the cum area on the opposite side of the table. And the other dice would usually hit the back wall just fine. But it's that first dice that everyone was having an issue with. And he had been warned 3 or 4 rolls in a row that, hey, you got to hit the back wall. And, we're going to no roll you if you don't hit the back wall. So he rolled once and we made the point. And on the come out roll, the roll was aces. And the stick finally got frustrated and called no roll. But the box overruled him. They said, the box has the final say, and I kind of tried to raise a little bit of a fuss because everyone lost their pass line bets. But, they said the box had the final say, so everyone lost on the pass line. It's not a huge deal because nobody had a huge amount of money on the pass line, but I just thought, once someone makes a ruling, I kind of feel like that should stay. So, I don't know, let me know what you guys think about that situation. They finally said, okay, we're going to let you roll for this roll because you're having a decent roll, but once you're done with this roll, you're not going to be rolling again. So that's how they ultimately resolved it. I thought it was a pretty strange ruling. I don't know what you guys think. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it a free roll for the casino? If it had been a 7 on the come out roll, would the boxman have agreed that it was a no roll, or would the stick have called no roll? Right? Was the stick trying to do a favor? Was he really getting frustrated, or was he trying to do a favor for the table? Who knows?
I think they should go with whatever the stick man says.
Well,
and then the boxman can take the stick man on his break and say, "Hey, keep your mouth shut, roll or no roll." Unless something, like it goes off the table or something.
Well,
they're on the table. If there's a problem, I'll make that call.
It depends on what the policy is at the casino, right? You would think that would already be in place. Can the stick call no roll,
right.
or can the boxman call no roll? Now, that can't be across the board, because I remember one time, Mike, where the dice it looked like they were going to end up in the wood.
Okay.
Right? One of the dice was going to end up in the wood, and the stick man said no roll prematurely because the die came back into the tub and it was a roll. And I don't know, might have been a 7 out or something. And everybody was saying, he called no roll, right? He called no roll.
Right.
When obviously there was no reason to be no, it was a roll. So it can, that's a conflict too.
I don't know. It's just hard for customers to, especially in his example, where, the guy calls no roll and it's a 2 and you're thinking, oh, great, I don't lose my line bet. And then it's, no, that's a roll. You all lost.
Yeah.
If it's me, if I'm the boxman, I just say, no, he said no roll. Now, if he said no roll and 7 came up and everyone would have won their line bet and I'm the boxman, I would have said, oh, yeah, no, it's a roll. It's a roll. Pay him.
Well, then
it just keeps customers happy.
I agree with what you're saying. The customer's getting a free roll in that case, but it does keep...
It keeps everyone happy.
Who knows what the dynamic was between this stick and this box, right?
Yeah.
Because why there may be some animosity there. Who knows, right?
That's another problem. Plus, the guy rolling, they were having an issue with him, obviously.
Right.
I think the next time we go to a casino, maybe in Biloxi, I'm going to set the dice in front of me. Then I'm going to take about 3 steps back from the table and then full on, as fast as I can move up to the table, grab the dice and throw them.
Okay.
Every time.
All right. How often do you think they'll go off the table? Maybe 50% of the time? 60 maybe percent of the time?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's the way I roll.
Okay. But when they do stay in the table, they're hitting the back wall.
Yeah,
so
they're
good
definitely
for you.
hitting the back wall.
Yeah.
Now, they may hit the back wall and fly out of the table.
Right. Hit people in their face.
Right.
Situations like this, you only have so much information, and if we'd been there, maybe we'd have a different opinion. But it's unfortunate that when things like this do happen.
Yeah, my thing is always keep the customers happy.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Especially
if the no roll worked out for the people, then we're going with that.
Yeah.
If a roll would have worked out, then we're going with that. What are you losing?
And it's craps on the come out roll, so it's not that big a deal. It's like he said, right? It's not like a 7 out or something, right? Or it's not like a hard way that they call back, or
people had tons of money on a hard 8, and then they called the hard 8 back. I mean, that's not good.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from David again.
Hi, gentlemen. This is David from California again, just calling in with my second trip report. I'm driving back from Long Beach right now after a 5-day cruise on the Carnival Radiance. I'm having another baby girl in a few weeks here, so I know I won't be able to go anywhere for a while, probably a few months before I can have another trip. So my goal was kind of to lose so much money that I don't want to go back to gambling for a little while, and I would say I was very successful at that. It went quite well in terms of losing a lot of money. Anyways, I had a blast. The ship is at about 30% capacity. There's like 700 or 800 people on it or something, so there's more crew members than there are passengers. No lines for everything. It was very nice. The dealers have definitely gotten the hang of things in the last month or so. This one, not as busy in the casino, obviously, because not as many people. But it's fun on these trips because craps players are just craps players. So for the whole week, you see the same people over and over again every night at the table. And it's kind of fun. You get to see everybody's different roles. And like we had one who rolls it like, feed the chickens, the classic role. There's one that was a setter. Another one that changed the set every single time. I personally just pick them up and throw them like I'm mad at them. It's fun seeing everybody's different personalities of dice throwing. Of course, all the results ended up the same anyways, which in this case was generally 0.7 out. But we did manage to hit the all tall small once. Somebody else rolled it for me. I rolled the small once, twice actually. Once with a little karma on it for you guys, so watch for that coming your way soon. And that's about it for the trip. I appreciate the show, guys. You do a wonderful job. Love listening to it every 2 weeks. Can't wait for it to come out. You have a great rest of your week, and happy gambling.
Yeah, and thanks, David. We got that karma donation. Very nice. Yeah, thanks for hitting that for us. And congratulations on the new baby girl.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, it sounds like, at least on this cruise ship, the crews were getting a little better, and he had a good time, even though he said he lost, which was his intent.
He probably liked that the ship was, only partially full.
Yeah, it's probably nice.
It's nice. There's a lot more room, and, the craps table probably wasn't as crowded.
Yeah, you get, just overall on the cruise, you're getting a lot more attention, right? From the staff, that kind of thing.
Notice that? So on a cruise ship, employees do more than one job.
Right. They'll move.
So
That,
your server at dinner time might also be the bartender at the pool during the day, or they all have multiple jobs. You see them all over the ship.
Yeah.
So I wonder about the dealers. So if you're a dealer on a cruise ship, I don't know if anyone has any knowledge of this, but do they, at night they're dealing craps, and then the next morning they're, handing out towels at the pool or something?
I bet they have multiple. I bet the dealers are no exception to the
and I wonder
jobs.
if they get paid differently, because, dealing craps or something is kind of a talent. Handing out towels at the pool is not, so much of a talent.
Yeah, I bet it is. But if anybody knows, let us know if they've noticed that.
I'd just be
specifically the
know.
dealers doing other tasks on the ship.
I know that one of my patients, he used to work at the Old Globe here in San Diego, and he's like a set construction.
Okay.
So, he did all the sets and stuff, made all the sets. And then he got a job with Disney, and he started the first few years on Disney cruise ships doing set construction and stuff for the shows.
Right.
And he told me, I asked him about this, he did not have to do anything else.
Oh, okay.
He worked like 8 to 5 doing stuff for the shows for that night, and then he was done.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time I said, what'd you do? He said, I enjoy the ship. I get to do stuff. So there must be some people on a ship who don't have to do
different cruise lines have different policies,
different policies,
different hiring policies.
And I'm sure he was paid more than like another cruise employee because he had some...
that's a good point, because usually with the entertainment, like if you've got a singer or a comedian, he's probably not handing out towels later.
No. They just do their show. And then they enjoy the ship like everyone else. They're laying out by the pool or whatever. Yeah. So I just always thought, I wonder what dealers, because they are kind of specialized.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but
you can't just take some guy and deal craps.
You're right, but there are a lot of specialized jobs on a cruise ship, right?
Well,
okay, there are some things that virtually anybody could do, but there are
there's a lot of specialized.
All right.
The captain probably is, later at night. Yeah, we got a block toilet in.
That's right. That's right. He's dealing blackjack. 6 to 5. It's 6 to 5 on my ship.
Well, anyway, I'm glad he had fun, and having another child is good. A girl, I've traumatized mine so much over the years. My two girls.
Poor girls.
Yeah, they're going to need therapy.
They already need therapy. Hey, you mentioned Biloxi. So what's your probability of going to Biloxi here?
It's about the same, maybe 80% now.
80%?
80%. Okay. But I will say this.
Yeah.
If I do go to Biloxi, and I'm going to guarantee this right now, every hour that I'm on a gambling table, not just, eating or something, but every hour, at least once during the hour, I'm going to yell out Snoqualmie.
I don't know if you got that pronunciation.
I think that's how
exactly
he said it, Snoqualmie.
Okay, the casino up in Washington.
Yeah, I think he said Snoqualmie.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, boy, if you yell that out at a crowded craps table as loud as you can, people are not going to know what the hell.
They all go silent. They stare at you.
Yeah, what the hell did he say? And they're all going to come up with something different.
Yeah, they're going to give you some space. I think that's the other thing they're going to do. Yeah.
And possibly need therapy.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Brian and Sarah and Josh, thank you very much. We also got a donation from Bill, a karma donation to Mark and Dr. Mike to turn around the losing streak I've been on lately. Thanks for the hours and hours of entertainment, and can't wait for this pandemic to end so I can roll dice with you guys again. Yeah, I know. I have to get them back down into the States. Hopefully this will turn your luck around. I need it too. Yeah. Maybe I should make a donation to the podcast. Also,
just donate to me.
All right. There you go. I'll do that. Also, a donation from Tim. Karma donation on behalf of Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. Love the show. Keep up the good work. I looked it up. Apparently, it's a cover band from Central Illinois. So,
nice.
Yeah, you can go online and listen to some of their music.
Nice.
Also, a donation from Eric. Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Karma donation for an upcoming Vegas trip January 20th through the 23rd. I love your podcast, and I hope to give you a winning trip update. Thank you for all the entertainment during my workday. Well, I hope you had a good trip.
Yeah, I hope you won.
Yeah. Also, a donation from Udall Engineering, a karma donation. Thanks for the content. You guys rock. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, that karma donation from David. He said, we hit the small or the tall. It's been more than a week, so I can't remember. Thanks for all the great content. So, again, thank you,
Now,
David.
that's amazing. He takes him a week to forget. I mean, honestly, we're at a table, right? And I tell you, that guy, remember he hit the small, and you're like, no, I think it was the tall. And I can't remember like 2 minutes
No, you
afterwards.
can't. No. Hey, you know what? If you're, tuning around on the TV and you're thinking, oh, did you hear there was like an Undercover Boss episode? I didn't even know about it. Or it's like, oh, I didn't know that last night young Sheldon's Mima, opened an illegal casino, right? Or, oh, there's, we provide this service.
Yes.
TV listings. And if you go to it, all the new stuff is highlighted in green. So if you don't care about something, that premiered 20 years ago, talking about the buffet at Rio,
Yeah.
hey, just look for the green.
Let me ask you this, Mark.
Yeah.
Is there any other way to get this information all complete like that anywhere in the world?
No. It's a
is-
customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And if you're looking for a gambling or Vegas-related movie, go to youcanbetonthat.com/movies. It is the biggest list you will see on this topic. Guaranteed.
I'm going to love the grief you're going to get over this. I'm going to love this.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We love getting your feedback. All right, Mike.
All right. Well, we got to go quick here because it's 15 minutes until kickoff of the Cincinnati, Kansas City game.
So those of you listening, you know who is going to the Super Bowl. We do not know yet.
Yeah.
The conference championship games are about to start, so we're going to get off.
So we're going to get off and go hunker down on our couch with our chips and our dip and our candy. And we're going to sit there and watch the game. Meanwhile, it's like 80 degrees outside.
It is a beautiful day in Southern California. It's so nice.
It's so wonderful. It's like the world is freezing and we've got 80-degree weather.
I can
the sun's
hardly
out.
wait to
Your
lie
pool
down.
Looked awesome.
Oh,
I was thinking, man, I could go for a swim. No, we're going to watch football.
Yep, exactly.
So that's just the way it's going to go.
Yep.
I saw a graph of Cincinnati Bengal fans in the country. And
it was like a map, kind of a graph.
One of those maps.
Like you'd see on USA Today or something that shows
where,
the things.
Yellow shows one thing, blue shows another.
Yeah, right.
Well, this was just yellow and red.
Okay.
Yellow being Cincinnati Bengals.
Fans or people rooting for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And red was Kansas City. And it was the whole United States, including Alaska and Hawaii.
Okay, so this map.
Yeah, and it was all yellow except for one tiny dot right over the city of Kansas City.
Right about Kansas City, Missouri. Little thing.
Yeah. That was it. So I'm sure Melanie's not going to be happy hearing that.
Well, everybody loves an underdog, right?
Yeah, but just for the record, I don't even know if I should say this because I'm obviously going to lose both bets.
Oh.
But I took Cincinnati plus the 7.
Yes, you did, right?
Yeah, and then the Rams minus 3.5.
Okay, so this is what Mike has done, and when you're listening to this, you will know how he did.
Yeah, and I still think Kansas City's going to win the game. But I think Cincinnati might keep it close. Okay. And I think the Rams are going to blow San Francisco away.
Okay.
So that's going to be your Super Bowl, Kansas City and the Rams. And it's going to be a nail biter.
Okay.
A nail biter Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm predicting that maybe the best Super Bowl ever.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we're going to record our next episode right before the Super Bowl. It's going to be the same thing in 2 weeks. We're going to be running to get out to watch the Super Bowl.
Right, go to watch the Super Bowl. Yeah. Well, that doesn't start till late.
No,
got all day for that.
I understand. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Oh, sweet mother, I love you, Dr. Mike.